Right, so a while back I asked each of you to come up with a lick that spans 3 octaves and repeats across each octave. And I called this the 3-octave lick challenge. Okay, so let's go to the internet and see what you guys came up with. So let's type in hashtag 3-octave lick challenge and see what we get. See what we get. Huh. Oh, that's I need the hashtag 3-octave lick challenge. It's just me. It's just me. Well, we are going to have to scour the internet and see what we come up with. This is the 3-octave lick challenge reaction edition. So today we are going to go back and revisit a challenge that I posted in my practicing scale videos back in October 2020. So I called this lick the 3-octave lick challenge. My challenge this is to start the 3-octave lick challenge. The point I was trying to make in this 3-octave lick challenge was to have a lick that would span across 3 octaves. So you could learn the lick in 1 octave, and what you would have to do is play it in 3 different registers. So your lick would span 1 octave, but you'd have to learn it in a high, a middle, and a low register. And the reason why I wanted it to be 3 octaves was that most of us, when we learn our scales, we learn them only in the box pattern. We're taught to play a box pattern which is at most 1 octave, but at best it's 2 octaves. So by making the lick a 3-octave lick challenge, you don't have a choice to exit the box pattern because 3 octaves can't be played in a single without shifting the hand. So let's have a look at the original licks that I posted for the 3-octave lick challenge. Here is lick number 1. And now here is lick number 2 from the 3-octave lick challenge. So this is what the first lick is going to look like when played just in the middle register where everyone has learned the box pattern for B minor. So if I were going to play the pentatonic licks in the box pattern, the first one would go like this. And this is what the second lick looks like when it's played in the box pattern. And the second one would go something like this. So what we need to do now is we need to take this lick and play it in the high register and then also play it in the lower register. So I need to figure out how to play this in the lower register and also in the higher register. So even though that there is a full register of this that I can play in the B minor box pattern that I'm used to playing, it still doesn't really help me practice the lick. I still have to practice lick by itself in the different registers. Why is the box pattern useful to learn? I think it's useful for if you're going to be playing in some keys that you're not used to playing and you want to know what the notes are of the scale. For example, let's take the B minor pentatonic scale, which I have learned backwards and forwards just to, play this lick. What happens if I want to play in the G minor pentatonic scale? So I can take the exact same box pattern and I can take the exact same notes, the exact same fingering, sorry. And then after that, I can look and then find what the names of the notes are. So it helps me learn the names of the notes for a different scale by keeping the exact same box position. So that's good for the pentatonic scale. Let's kick off the 3-octave lick challenge with some licks that I found on the internet. And we're going to start off strong with a classical piece, the Flight of the Bumblebee.
Flight of the Bumblebee.
Now, you have probably heard this from violinists or other guitarists or even piano players that want to flex and show how fast they can play something. The Flight of the Bumblebee was composed by the Russian composer Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, and the music is an interlude from the ballet The Tale of Tsar Sultan. Now, what we are going to use this lick is not for speed, but we are going to look and see how we can use the chromatic scale to make a 3-octave lick. Now, the original Flight of the Bumblebee at the very start only spans 2 octaves. So to make this a true 3-octave lick, all I did was extend that an extra octave down. Now, the chromatic scale has nothing to do with the Chrome browser, and it doesn't have anything to do with chromatic aberrations. It just has to do with one of the classes of scales that were used along with the diatonic scales, and the word comes from ancient Greek. Now, what's useful about the chromatic scale on the guitar is that it has only really one fingering pattern, so it's very easy for you to learn, but the licks that you have to learn that are in the chromatic scale are kind of like a chore. So I found that it was more of kind of a warm-up exercise to learn this lick, rather than something that was like, oh, okay, this is really going to help me learn the scale. But the Flight of the Bumblebee starting lick is an excellent contender for the 3-octave lick challenge. So the challenge for me with this chromatic scale lick was the coordination required between the right and the left fingers, so the right and the left hand. Anyways, let's move on from the classical world, and we are going to jump into the electric guitar world with the Pop-Tarts lick.
Uncle Ben's Pop-Tarts.
So back when I was learning the electric guitar, I was not really used to playing with a pick because the only thing I knew how to do was play classical guitar with the fingers. And so I started looking on the internet for ways to do, play fast things with the picking, and I came across Troy Grady's Cracking the Code. And these are lots of examples from electric guitar for how you can use downward pick slanting to play super fast licks. And one of the licks that he came up with was the Pop-Tarts licks. Now the Pop-Tarts lick only spans 2 octaves, but lucky for us, our favorite Texan guitarist, Ben Eller, came up with his very own Pop-Tarts variation lick, which actually does span 3 octaves. Thanks, Ben. So I like this lick because it explores all of the notes of the A minor scale. Are we in A minor? E minor. So I like this Pop-Tarts lick because it explores really all of the notes of the E minor scale, and because it crawls slowly down the neck of the guitar from the high positions all the way to the low positions, it really makes you practice all of the notes in the E minor scale across the neck. Now, I'm not sure if it's exactly the same lick repeated across the 3 octaves, but as you can see from the fingering, it is the exact same fingering repeated across each of the iterations of the lick. So I guess it's a different take on the 3-octave lick challenge. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for in terms of notes, but it certainly crosses all of the octaves and comes in the spirit of the 3-octave lick challenge. So go check out this rice-flavored 3-octave lick challenge lick. The tabs are on the Instagram page of Ben Eller, or if you want all of the tabs, you can also find them on my Subscribe Star page. The Pop-Tarts lick has 8 notes on the first string in this pattern. Then you'll have 6 more notes on the second string, and then 2 notes on the third string. And it's this fingering repeated across all of the strings. Now, it's not necessarily the same distance in the frets, but it's always going to be the same number of notes per string. That's what helps with your picking. And if you know all of your notes in the E minor scale, then this scale, if you know all of those notes, then it's kind of a breeze to learn this lick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you keep repeating that. All they need to know is the note that you're starting on. Anyway, that's enough for the electric guitar. Let's move on to our classical guitar, and we are going to get a different lick this time.
Lucas Imbibra's Desperado lick.
If you haven't seen Lucas Imbibra's over-the-top extrabatic performance of the Desperado arrangement from the song Canción del Mariachi from the Desperado movie, if you haven't seen that version, pause this video and go watch it right now because it's pretty cool. Really great version. And this has a 3-octave lick. Well, it's almost but not quite 3 octaves. It's missing a note to be 3 octaves, played on the classical guitar. And this is a 3-octave lick that is actually based on triplets, which I found was really interesting because when I was developing my 3-octave licks, I was thinking more of a linear sort of 4-note per, either 16th notes or 8th notes, and the triplets really it gives it a kind of drive and makes it almost seem that you're playing faster than you really are. So this one leaps right up to the top of the guitar neck, and let's go see what it sounds like. So I'm not exactly sure what the scale is when using this. It's kind of a mixture of the E minor major scale, but here are the notes that are in the scale that are repeated over the 3 octaves. Okay, so with the Desperado lick, you would have basically starting low E, G sharp, A, B, C, D, and D sharp. And it's all of the notes that are in this scale that make the lick. The first octave is here, the second octave, and then the last octave is truncated. Some notes are missing. So despite the fact that this scale is not quite complete and doesn't quite make it to 3 octaves, I really like the use of the triplet pattern to give it a drive to make your speed increase. And I also really like his use of the made up scale so that you don't have to tie yourself like I thought originally. You have to tie yourself to one single scale for your lick. You can actually just kind of find a combination of notes that you really like and just make a scale or a scalar lick out of those. So whether it's using your own rhythms to come up with a lick that speeds ahead at blazing speed, or it's using your own scale to come up with an even more creative lick that exits the box, the best way to do the 3-Octave Lick channel is to start by clicking on the like button and subscribing to the channel. So that's all for the video today. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.